putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Greetings and salutations again. We are in the final segment of the Kevin Jackson Radio Show for the day. It's a beautiful Friday. I am Brett Segal, the Disgruntled Millennial, as you probably know already by now that I broadcast to you live from my safe space down here in northern Florida, where I'm free from your bigotry, racism, hatred, microaggressions, and patriarchy. I'm going to try to wrap up today's show in a nice little bow for you, because you're going to hear a lot coming from Hollywood, coming from a lot of the Hollywood elites about institutional sexism and misogyny in Hollywood. Of course, they're going to ignore the fact that Hollywood is 99% left-wing, and they're going to completely ignore the fact that that a lot of these hypocrites in Hollywood, these hypocrites who are basically have known about this sexual abuse, have known about this sexual harassment for a very, very long time, but have not come out. Now they're going to come out and tell you all about misogyny. Now they're going to come and tell you all about how to properly treat women. Let's not forget these are the same Hollywood elites who said this about Ann Coulter.
Ann Coulter, if you're here, who's scaring the crows away from our crops? Last year we had Martha Stewart, who sells sheets, and now we have Ann Coulter, who cuts eye holes in them.
Looks like she's having a good time. I haven't seen you laugh this hard since Trayvon Martin got shot.
Ann Coulter is here, which can mean only one thing. Someone must have said her name 3 times. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
First of all, as a feminist, I can't support everything that's being said up here tonight. But as somebody that hates Ann Coulter, I'm delighted.
Ann Coulter is one of the most repugnant, hateful, hatchet-faced bitches alive. But it's not too late to change, Ann. You could kill yourself.
Ann Coulter has written 11 books, 12 if you count Mein Kampf.
Ann Coulter looks so much like a truck stop transvestite whore that I saw Jeff Ross run to an ATM just before the show.
Ann hopes the Republicans can hold on to the House so she can continue to haunt it. She seems stiff and conservative, but Ann gets wild in the sheets. Just ask the Klan.
Ann's against gay marriage. What's your thinking on that? If I can't get a husband, they shouldn't either?
It's 56 days to Halloween, but I see that Ann Coulter's already in her skeleton costume.
Is Pete white? Is he black? Ann Coulter needs to know so she can decide if she hates him.
Why is Ann Coulter here tonight? Answer? Because the Right to Lifers wanted everyone to see what an abortion looks like up close.
I just realized that I am not the only athlete up here tonight. As you all know, earlier this year, Ann Coulter won the Kentucky Derby.
And you know, Ann, after seeing your set tonight, I think we've all witnessed the first bombing that you can't blame on a Muslim.
Okay, now when Donald Trump said that blood was coming out of Megyn Kelly's wherever, this was interpreted by the left as being disrespectful towards all women. He was talking about all women. Now, by the same rationale, aren't these leftists, aren't these Hollywood elites talking about all women when they talk about Ann Coulter? No, they're not talking about all women, because the same rules that apply to leftists don't apply to people who are conservative, people who express conservative values. No, they are Nazis. They are Hitler. Now, one of the things that's so alarming is the complete and utter lack of introspection. Now, we've come out and we've heard from Ashley Judd, a woman who kept a secret of endemic sexual abuse going on in leftist Hollywood. She kept this secret for a very, very long time until it no longer suited her agenda. And then she came out in full force against Harvey Weinstein. But not just that. She blames it on conservatives. She blames it on the patriarchy. You know, she blames it on white supremacy. But she held on to this secret for God knows how many years. And in the next breath, all the rules about sexism and misogyny and fat shaming or skinny shaming or white shaming, racism, baseless accusations of Nazism and being a member of the KKK and supporting the KKK. All those rules, all those little mores that the leftists like to hold conservatives to on a daily basis, they go out the window. They go absolutely out the window. And nobody marched on Washington for Ann Coulter. Nobody marched on Washington for Sarah Palin. Now, you're going to hear a lot from these leftists over the next couple days about this Harvey Weinstein case, and you might be convinced by a lot of it, too. You might say that these leftists have just come around. Maybe they've come around. Maybe they're actually willing to do some introspection to see the corruption and sexism going on in their own camp. No, I predict something else. I predict that this is going to be just more evidence to them of patriarchy. This is going to be more evidence to them of white supremacy. This is going to be more evidence to them of sexual misconduct perpetrated by conservatives, which is the oddest thing. They are not going to look inside and see how what they have done has damaged the culture. They want to project their own evils. They want to project their own secrets onto the patriarchy. Now, these are the people who demand that white people repair slavery. White people from today repair slavery from yesterday. Let's see how far these leftist actresses and actors will go to give back the money that Harvey Weinstein made them. Google it. Google Harvey Weinstein. Google every movie that Harvey Weinstein has been involved in. Now, imagine the millions and millions of dollars in revenue that went to a lot of these actors, actresses, directors, cameramen, visual arts directors, movie composers. Every single person who was involved in the making of a Harvey Weinstein movie might want to go back and return the money that was made from Harvey Weinstein's production company. The victims of Harvey Weinstein are still alive today. They are still kicking. They are still suffering. The victims of slavery, they're not alive today. The people who cracked the whip are not alive today. Harvey Weinstein he's still kicking. His victims are still kicking. Let's see how far the left is willing to go to support their very own philosophy, to support their very own liberal logic. Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you can claim that Donald Trump was talking about all women, then these leftists who want to criticize Ann Coulter for some very, very normal, down-to-earth beliefs and call her a Nazi and call her a KKK and call her a Confederate and then make fun of her looks and make fun of her body and all this stuff, like the body shaming community. If you are really going to go out there and support all these different causes, then you are going to have to take a look inward if you want anybody to take you seriously. We can't take you seriously, and we want to be able to take you seriously. Meryl Streep and Ashley Judd, we want to be able to take it seriously when you say that these are abhorrent behaviors on behalf of the feminists out there, of the women out there. Now, you take to Washington, you manage to get off of your lazy butts and drive your buses by the truckload, by the busload. You drive your people out to Washington and you march for women's lives for this sort of nebulous white supremacy, this nebulous patriarchy that no one can really pinpoint, that no one can really understand. It's just this nebulous villain that makes all cisgendered straight white men look terrible. But yet when you have a villain on your side who fits every single criteria to mobilize you, you can't even look inwards. You can't even look inwards and say, you know what? We did this. We did this. We supported this community. I'm Ashley Judd. I kept those secrets. I was wrong because that was evil. Imagine if I had spoken up. If I was Ashley Judd, I would say I've been famous for a very, very long time. And I have had influence for a very, very long time, and I never mentioned it. And who knows how many women I put at risk? Who knows how many women were terrorized by this man? Who knows how many waitresses couldn't get out of that waitressing job because they wouldn't take their pants off and for Harvey Weinstein. They wouldn't watch Harvey Weinstein masturbate and take a shower. How many of them lost out on career opportunities? Isn't that what the feminists should care about? I'm Ashley Judd, and I've had the nerve to come out and lecture you about sexism. I shouldn't have done that, and I'm sorry. No, this is going to be just another opportunity for the left to double down on their intersectional feminist crap. Stay away from these women, and please try not to imbibe too much of this over the weekend, because believe me, it is going to, if you pay attention to news and politics, it is going to get worse. We are probably going to hear a lot more from these folks like Ashley Judd telling us how awful and terrible conservatives are. Now, every single leftist commentator that I've seen talk about this so far has neglected to mention that he is a big Hillary Clinton donor. They forget to mention that he's a leftist. They forget to mention that he is a lifelong Democrat. They forget to mention that rumors have been really going around for quite some time. No, they just say, this is terrible, this is awful, this just happened in a vacuum. I'm starting to notice a theme here. Tweet me at Shaq General. This is Brett Segal, the Disgruntled Millennial. We'll see you next week.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.